Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Daily Playbook. We have a couple Saturday games here, and there's no major updates to the tool other than what I had from Thursday. So let's not waste any more time and get right into the numbers. And now moving into your Saturday night game, you have Baltimore going to Green Bay, where Green Bay is favored on the money line with a spread of 3 points and a total line of 38.5. Here are the team's seasonal averages. And walking through the rankings, with Baltimore, you have a mixed offense with a scoring rank of 14, a passing rank of 27, but a pretty good rushing rank of 3. Defensively, it's a little bit worse, with an allowed scoring rank of 16, allowed passing rank of 27, and an allowed rushing rank of 14. For Green Bay, it's a little bit more consistent offensively, with a scoring rank of 12, a passing rank of 11, and a rushing rank of 13. And pretty good defensively, with an allowed scoring rank of 9, allowed passing rank of 9, and allowed rushing rank of 11. Bringing up our quarterbacks, I'm starting with Lamar Jackson. He is listed as doubtful, so be aware of that. So I could still see him somehow coming into play, and that's why I want to show his data. But then I'll move into the backup quarterback, who more likely will be playing, as well as Jordan Love is out, so we'll look at both backup quarterbacks. But quickly going through Lamar Jackson at 16.2 fantasy points per game, with 6 interceptions, 3 fumbles lost due to sacks, and no other fumbles. And his shares are 15.9% of the carry share, and 16.3% of the rushing yard share. And now for the quarterbacks that are expected to play, you have Tyler Huntley and Malik Willis, with Huntley averaging 6.5 fantasy points per game, and Willis right about the same. Moving over to your player seasonal averages. And for turnovers, Huntley has given up nothing for the games that he's played in, and same goes for Willis. For their rushing share, you don't really have much from the backups, except for you do get a little bit with Huntley at 4% of the rushing carry share and about 4.4% of the rushing yard share. Next up, we have our running backs with Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs. Henry averaging 14.7 fantasy points per game, and Josh Jacobs at 16.8. Here are their seasonal averages. And for turnovers, you have Derrick Henry with 3 rushing fumbles this season, and you have Josh Jacobs with 2 rushing fumbles. For their share, you have Derrick Henry at 63.4% of the rushing carry share and 60.1% of the rushing yard share. And right now, the next largest portion actually goes to Lamar Jackson. So this is supposed to be representative of maybe what would happen in the upcoming game, except for that we won't have this Lamar Jackson chunk. For Josh Jacobs, he gets about 60.4% of the rushing carry share and 59.3% of the rushing yard share. The next largest portion is a little larger than a quarter, at a little bit more than 27% for each metric, and that comes from the backup Emmanuel Wilson. For your receivers, you have Zay Flowers and Christian Watson, with Flowers averaging 13.4 fantasy points per game, and Watson averaging about 12.2. Once again, flipping over their seasonal averages, and the only turnovers come from Zay Flowers, with 3 receiving fumbles. For their share, you have Zay Flowers at 33.3% of the target share, and 41.1% of the receiving yard share on the team, making him the most productive receiver in Baltimore. And with Watson, you have him at 12.4% of the target share, and 15.3% of the receiving yard share. For your number 2 receivers, you have Rashad Bateman and Romeo Doubs, with Bateman averaging 4.5 fantasy points per game, and Doubs averaging about 10.4. Once again, with their seasonal averages, and with no turnovers, we'll go right to the charts, so go ahead and give this video a pause if you need to look at this in more detail. But otherwise, you get Bateman with 11.5% of the target share and 8.5% of the receiving yard share, and Doubs at 20.8% of the target share and 20.3% of the receiving yard share, making Doubs the most productive receiver in Green Bay. We finish out with our tight ends with Mark Andrews and Luke Musgrave. Andrews averages about 8 fantasy points per game, and Musgrave about 3.8. Here's their averages, and once again, there's no turnovers given up by either tight end this season, so we'll go right to the charts. Where you have Mark Andrews with 19.6% of the target share and about 15% of the receiving yard share, and Musgrave at about 7.8% of the target share and 7.7% of the receiving yard share. So with all that data, that wraps up everything that I have. We can just quickly compare rankings real fast to see where they stack up. And I think that you have a much better defense here against a Baltimore offense that's a little bit more mixed. It appears the one thing that Baltimore can rely on is their rushing with Derrick Henry, which makes sense. But you're still going against an allowed rushing rank of 11. So I think Baltimore is really going to have to run the ball a whole bunch, especially without Lamar Jackson. And this shows up really with their passing rank of 27 against an allowed passing rank of 9. So that's going to be a very difficult passing game for the Ravens. And as always, the one thing that really has a big significance to me is the scoring ranks. So this allowed scoring rank of 16 against this scoring rank of 12. So Green Bay wins out there. And you have a scoring rank of 14 in Baltimore against an allowed scoring rank of 9. So Green Bay outmatches Baltimore in both those rankings. So even though you don't have Jordan Love in, it also looks like you're not going to have Lamar Jackson in, which probably evens things out a little bit more there. And that's why then I still would lean to Green Bay with just the better rankings and the better numbers overall. And there you have it for your Saturday games. I hope that you enjoyed and got something out of it. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe. And leave a comment on what other information you want to see in the future. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for the Sunday games. And then, of course, now flashing up our defensive information, I'm just going to quickly go through this. And if anybody's seen the other videos, I still have this problem where some of the defensive players don't show up. It does seem to be consistently one side all the time because I have all of Green Bay's here, but not all of Baltimore's. And that's been a fairly consistent thing, so that makes me think that there's an error there, which I can go look into a little bit more now. And I'm just going to go through the panels without talking through them. So if you need any of the information, go ahead and give the video a pause. Here is your left defensive tackle. Your right defensive tackle. Your right defensive ends. Your weak side linebackers. Your middle linebacker. Your strong side linebackers. Your left cornerbacks. The strong safeties. Your free safeties. Your right side cornerbacks. And finally, your nickelbacks.